Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. God has a special providence for fools, drunkards, and the United States of America. People never lie so much as before an election, during a war, or after a hunt. Crowned heads, wealth and privilege may well tremble should ever again the black and red unite, after the split between anarchists and Marxists in 1872. Man cannot control the current of events. He can only float with them and steer. The great questions of the day will not be settled by means of speeches and majority decisions but by iron and blood. Politics are not a science based on logic, they are the capacity of always choosing at each instant, in constantly changing situations, the least harmful, the most useful. The statesman's task is to hear God's footsteps marching through history, and to try and catch on to his coattails as he marches past. We live in a wondrous time, in which the strong is weak because of his scruples and the weak grows strong because of his audacity. Not by speeches and votes of the majority, are the great questions of the time decided. That was the error of 1848 and 1849, but by iron and blood. If there's ever another war in Europe, it will come out of some damned silly thing in the Balkans. Life is like being at the dentist. You always think that the worst is still to come, and yet it is over already. Political judgment is the ability to hear the distant hoofbeats of the horse of history. Government is cancerous in head and limbs, only its belly is sound, and the laws it excretes are the most straightforward shit in the world. That which is imposing here on earth has always something of the quality of the fallen angel who is beautiful but without peace, great in his conceptions and exertions but without success, proud and lonely. Woe to the leader whose arguments at the end of a war are not as plausible as they were at the beginning. That which is imposing here on earth has always something of the quality of the fallen angel who is beautiful but without peace, great in his conceptions and exertions but without success, proud and lonely. If this political business teaches you one thing, it is that you can be as wise as the wise men of this world, and yet you always wander into the next minute like a child into the dark. The greatest burden for the working class is uncertainty of life. They can never be certain that they will have a job, or that they will have health and the ability to work. We cannot protect a man from all sickness and misfortune. Not through speeches and majority decisions will the great questions of the day be decided, but by iron and blood. The Americans are a very lucky people. They're bordered to the north and south by weak neighbors, and to the east and west by fish. Otto von Bismarck. The death of Lincoln was a disaster for Christendom. There was no man in the United States great enough to wear his boots, and the bankers went anew to grab the riches. I fear that foreign bankers with their craftiness and tortuous tricks will entirely control the exuberant riches of America and use it to systematically corrupt civilization. Never believe anything in politics until it has been officially denied. A generation that has taken a beating is always followed by a generation that deals one. Even the most favorable outcome of the war will never lead to the decomposition of the main forces of Russia, which is based on millions of Russian. The latter, even if they break up international treaties, just as quickly reconnect with each other, like pieces of a particle of mercury. A really great man is known by 3 signs: generosity in the design, humanity in the execution, moderation in success. People who love sausage and people who believe in justice should never watch either of them being made. When you want to fool the world, tell the truth. Preventive war is like committing suicide out of fear of death. A bad plan that is well executed will yield much better results than a good plan that is poorly executed. Anyone who has ever looked into the glazed eyes of a soldier dying on the battlefield will think hard before starting a war. It is the destiny of the weak to be devoured by the strong. Be polite, write diplomatically. Even in a declaration of war one observes the rules of politeness. He who has his thumb on the purse has the power.